Hello and welcome to the finals of 1999 Pro Tour Chicago. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian Hacker, and we're really looking forward to this championship match between Bob Maher Jr. on the right hand of your screen and Brian Davis on the left. I gotta tell you, the more I look at Bob Maher's deck, Brian, the more I like it. You can really tell that Bob has played this deck through multiple tournaments and really understands what's going on.
It's a very impressive deck, not just the main deck too. The sideboard is extremely impressive. 13 different cards.
Gotta love an Enlightened Tutor sideboard. Similar to Vampire Tutor sideboard, you just put one of things you can tutor for that will devastate certain opponents. In fact, we watched Bob in the quarterfinals just demolish Dirk Dabrowski with one card, Trade Routes. He has one copy of Trade Routes in his main deck, but 4 Enlightened Tutors to go get it. And one of the cards to keep an eye on for this matchup is another one of that Bob can Enlightened Tutor for. He has Ivory Masks in his main deck. Mercadian Masks rare, 2/WW. It says that you cannot be the target of spells and effects. Brian Davis only has 2 creatures in his deck, just 2 Skittering Scourges. All the rest of his damage comes from Drain Lives and Corrupts that he points straight at Bob. With Ivory Mask on the table, Brian will have an extremely hard time winning.
And not just that.
He has 2 discs in his deck, but Bob has answers for those as well.
And not just that, after sideboard in will come a Compost, which is really devastating.
The spirit of Chicago is strong with this one. First Pro Tour ever with Necro in Extended in Chicago. He is playing against a hometown kid, hometown guy, Bob Maher, but Maher has cashed his draw in. Maher's forced a mulligan, and wow, first turn, Unmask You, Ritual, Necro. You can't draw that up any better, can you, Brian?
That's a pretty ridiculous draw, to be quite honest.
Maher has to draw 2 Force of Wills and 2 blue cards. How does he win?
Well, he's still got the Enlightened Tutor engine, so as long as he can keep enough land in his hand and on the board, he could potentially Enlightened Tutor for an Ivory Mask, which should stall the game. Brian may not want to play, and remember, I think in this first game, other than the discs, he doesn't really have any way to deal with the enchantments, so the game could stall out if he can get a disc or an oath. An oath will stop the creature damage too.
Well, I mean, Brian only has 2 creatures in his entire deck.
Right.
By the way, there's 5 creatures total between both decks. Bob has 3, Brian has 2. Bob does have a 4th creature in his sideboard, to be fair. That draw is not very good either.
That's a really poor draw.
Wasteland is his only land.
Does have a
he has an Impulse.
Force of Will, I think. No, that's a Brainstorm.
Is that a Brainstorm?
I believe so.
One more time.
One more time.
I think that's a good mulligan. I think that's a really good mulligan.
He's right.
And if he could see his hand, he'd definitely mulligan it.
Well, it's almost good for Bob. I mean, Bob doesn't want to waste a good draw when Brian's got that. I don't think Bob has a draw that can beat Brian Davis's hand right now.
I think so.
Perverse things would have to happen in the upcoming turns. I mean, and whatever 5 cards Bob finally settles on, he's going to immediately lose one of them to Unmask.
Like, to be perfectly honest, the best hand Bob might draw might be 5 land, or like
I agree.
Something very similar.
That's
close. That's a perfect draw almost. Okay. And he's going to lose the Aura Silence, which really stinks, but the rest of it is really solid. He just wants land.
He drew a black card. He can unmask him twice if he wants to. If he wants to remove Corrupt, he can go unmask you, Ritual, Necro. That's all I got.
There's rumors.
I'll do more next turn.
There's rumors that Brian Davis sacrificed a goat last night in order to get a draw like this.
Wow. Yep, take the Aura. Does he bother going for the Plow? I mean, he might as well. He's just going to refill his hand, right?
Yeah.
Is there a reason not to? Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be conservative, isn't he?
You should take this for hand when you drew 7 cards.
He should have 1 card in his hand.
Necro for 5.
Necro for 5. He's still gonna win, but it's not as much fun.
Yeah. Okay. End step. Yep.
Randy all Necro for 9 Bueller.
That was even more fun when you had Firestorm in your hand and there were like 3 creatures on the board.
Go ahead.
Played against Sven Geertsen, I get to say Necro for 11. And the look on his face was priceless because I'd already firestormed him once. He's looking at his hand, there must be something I could do. Yeah, memory's all I got left. Alright, there's Morphling. I think unmask Morphling, draw some cards. You know you're going to unmask it eventually, right?
Yeah.
Not like Spinning Darkness is going to do any good.
Yeah, there it is.
Waste you. Alright, so Bob has a land and a card.
That's nice. That's nice.
Brian's only got 2 permanents, right?
It's a good thing him's not in this environment anymore.
Although, you know, they're doing exactly what Chris Pakula said they should do to fix Extended. Said ban everything until Necro's good again. Then ban Necro, and then you're done. Yeah. Wow.
This probably is actually, I mean, for Bob, as bad as this is, it could be, I mean, it really can't be worse, but he's got a couple of land in play, which isn't too bad.
Okay, it's 8 to 20 for the record. I mean, Brian does need to take some time to build up some land in play.
He's got to develop to about six land to really get going. Although the disc is going to hit the board, and there's nothing Bob can do about it. So.
Right.
And that'll really end Bob's chances at salvaging himself with Ivory Mask or something like that.
Yeah, Brian's plan next turn is probably land done. He might go ahead and unmask if Bob actually has 2 cards in his hand. I don't know if he needs to unmask. But he just needs to take some time, build up some land and play. Play the disc, and then start draining and corrupting.
Necroform. Okay.
Yeah, this looks correct.
So he doesn't even really care to unmask him at this point.
Right. He's not trying to defend anything. I think next turn he may unmask to make sure.
Right.
Well, how much enchantment removal does Bob have in his main deck? Does he have anything other than that 1 aura?
Let's take a look. Got his main deck.
Does he have a disenchant or?
No, it looks like it's just the aura, which he would have because he can tutor for it.
Right, of course. Yeah, I mean, aura's the best first enchantment removal.
Right. Yeah, that's it. That's just the only one. So.
And you know what? If Brian didn't know that off the top of his head, he would have unmasked there. This kid studied. He did his homework last night. He had clearly spent a lot of time cramming last night. He didn't bother to unmask Bob because he knows the only way for Bob to remove a disc is already in his graveyard. It's kind of unfortunate that he didn't draw a land. Might have to consult for a swamp here. I think I would consult for swamp.
Yeah, sounds right.
It's not risky at all. There's 20 swamps in the deck.
What's amazing is, despite the fact that Bob
for
is in as bad a situation as you can possibly imagine, he could actually get out of this. I mean, he could potentially draw a Gaze Blessing, somehow get into something that gets rid of the disc, and put down Ivory Mask.
I really think he should have consulted for swamp there. I mean, he paid the alternative casting cost of 3B for unmask. He could have consulted for swamp and still paid that alt CC.